Hello, beautiful ones. How are you? It's Find You Fridays. Yes, it's Find You Fridays. So excited to be with you today because you know what? I had a day off work today, but I still got lots of bits and pieces done, and I've spent a good chunk of time nurturing me. I got to spend some time doing some craft today. And you know what? I have really missed just sitting down and making a big, huge mess on my kitchen table and just creating like cool little things just because obviously this time of year is a brilliant time of year for creating cool kinds of things, all sorts of things just because. And so I'm not going to say what I created just in case the people who are going to receive what I created are watching this. So yeah. Oh, so good. My body feels nice and refreshed and happy, and it's such a very good feeling. So let me just do a couple more share outs while we do this. Let's have a look. Oh, nope. Oh, isn't it a grand day? Beautiful. Love it. Hi, Chloe. How much is it for a reading? Well, that's up to you, my love. If you have a look in the show notes, and in fact, I will open up it so I can put it into here for you. Open it out. It's righty. So if I paste the happy little PayPal link, it is in the show notes, so you can definitely find that there. There we go. Oh, I better switch that over to that one first, hadn't I? Oh, goodness. Stay on the page. Let's just pop that up there. Janelle Public. Oh, goodness. You can pay whatever you like, Chloe. It is totally up to you how much you choose to pay. I would love to do an extended reading for you, though. That would be really super cool. What is going on here? Facebook is having fun and games with me. I love it. So let's leave that one. We'll come back to that. In fact, I will just jump straight over here. I will go paste into here, and that will make that much easier. Oh, hi, Carol. Lovely to see you, sweet pea. What's the weather like in the UK today, darling? Cool. Okay. Just sorting out a couple of little things, my sweets, and then I'll be right back. Freezing! Ask a question. There we go. Beautiful. That's that done. What's classed as freezing for you? Because I can tell you what, some of my beautiful Adelaide people feel like it's been a bit freezing here lately. Well, and then we roast. We roast and we freeze at the moment. It's really funny because it's like last weekend we had 35 degrees, 32 and 35, I think it was. And then during the week, we've had highs of 22. So we feel a little bit out of sorts at the moment because we just have no idea how warm we're supposed to be feeling right now. We don't know if we're supposed to be putting our winter clothes away or if we're supposed to be bringing them back out. It was like literally last night I got so cold I put my hoodie back on. It's so funny. Oh dear, it was such a crack up. All right, I think we've got that all sorted. And how has the full moon been treating you? Of course, we had our lovely full moon on Friday or Thursday, yesterday. Today is Friday. I have had a most unusual day today, being that I actually was able to sit down on a Friday and just do some crafting after I'd done all my other bits and pieces that I required to do today. And I made cards and I made something else. And it was just such a beautiful, beautiful day. I had so much fun. It was just amazing. Okay, dokie. So we've got everything set up. I have my licorice and peppermint tea because we do love a licorice and peppermint. Heating on full. Yeah, we get our heating from the sky. Hi, Judy. How are you, darling? Thank you for tuning in on Tuesday. I saw your comments there. Yeah, wow. Keep it up, Carol, because you know what? The more that you do that stuff, you're helping the generations to come, even if you haven't had children. I can't remember if you've got kids or not. But yeah, I know, Judy, it was good. But the generational in your future generations of self are all being helped by the healing work and the releasing work that you're doing right now. So keep going. I know at times it can be very, very intense when those big things come up, but it's so, so good. I will leave that little story that I have brewing from today up in my head. And I'll leave that for now. But yes, funny thing is, if we recall from the reading last week, I predicted that there was going to possibly be some little conflicts pop up. And what do you know? There was. For me anyhow. I don't know how you all went with it, but what I looked at was, first of all, where have I been and done that with myself? Where have I been and done that with others, this particular moment of conflict? And, it was a moment where somebody had found an old link of mine, and then they had only read what they wanted to read of the description of that link, and then basically accused me of misrepresentation. And I was just like, what? And I found myself instantly remembering that reading from last Friday going, here's this conflict thing. Because I don't get a lot of conflict in my world anymore. It's actually really great. So when it came up, it was a little bit jarring to start off with, but then I was just like, do you know what? No, this is a good thing. It provided me with a moment to go, okay, well, that old link definitely needs to be fixed. It was, it was a Facebook one, so that's fine. I got all that sorted. I cleaned up the link that it's going into a no longer seen page in my website, so that was funny. And I just went, you know what? I'm almost certain there have been times in my life where I haven't been wanting to see the whole picture, where I've only seen a portion of it, the part that seemed relevant to me. And then, got angry at other people when they showed me the full picture. And there was another moment there where I was just like going, you know what? It's not that I'm an ineffectual healer or anything like that. It's just that she wasn't ready for me. And that's okay. There was some beautiful moments that we'd had in this session, and it was just like, it's okay. It's okay that I obviously challenged her in a way that she just wasn't ready for. And that happens too. She'll go off and she'll do her own journey, and that's okay. So I wonder, did you all have any conflicts and then take some moments to nurture yourself afterwards? Did you remember to connect in with nature? I've made sure. Hi, Julie. Thank you so much. I very much remembered to connect in with my nature and my little garden out the back. And, there was a few moments there where I've had the privilege of just being able to take a break and have some water and on my lunch or at work, and just be outside for a bit and just breathe. And that's been really, really brilliant. And also I got to have my very first sugar snap pea off of the pea pod out of my garden this week. It was like, it was juicy, and as much as peas can be juicy, but it was delicious. It was full of flavor. It was crunchy. It was just so freaking yummy. And I was just like, oh, thank you. And I'm loving watching my tomatoes grow, and slowly, we haven't got a ripe one yet, but they're growing and they're looking amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh, beautiful. That sounds lovely, Carol. Sun gazing, especially with you guys coming into winter. That's beautiful. Yeah, Judy, Tuesday night was perfect timing, I feel. So for those of you who didn't watch Tuesday night's show, I was talking with Kira Kayusu, who is a specialist in somatic healing. So that's very much looking at your childhood traumas and stuff like that. And what we were looking at for this particular episode was how childhood trauma shows up at this time of year. When there's a lot of family focus, there's a lot of the pressure on gatherings, and there's that the onus and the obligation to be there, even if you don't want to be there, and how triggering that can be to somebody who hasn't done any work, hasn't done the work. And so it's about identifying and opening up and realizing where you may be in your childhood trauma. And we gave a few really helpful and pragmatic tips on what we can do to help manage that time with a lot more ease, especially if you feel like you still have to be there. And, for whatever reasons you might have, trying to keep the peace or making sure you're still in the will, those sorts of things. And it was just an absolutely brilliant episode. I'm so glad that we did it. So yeah, I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I'm very, very grateful that Kira chose to pop on and share that one with me, because it's a tough topic, So let me just grab that and pop that there. Beautiful. So if you missed it, there it is there. Okay, and of course, if you're in YouTube land, it is, of course, in my Tasty Tuesdays playlist over there. So let's have a look. Yeah, she totally is. Just such a little sweetheart, and I can't wait to actually meet her in person. Oh. All right. So let's do a general reading for everybody. Hi, Shwana. Thank you for joining us today. Let us have a look at the next 7 days from, let's say, the 10th of December through to the 16th. We, of course, know that yesterday, the 8th of December, was our full moon. So we've still sort of got a little bit of that energy floating around for today and tomorrow. So that will probably become a bit of a factor. That's okay. So let's have a look and see how we go. See what is the best way for us to flow through the next week with total ease, and what sort of things we can be aware of. Okay. Gemini moon. Whoa. Yes. So could you tell us a little bit more about that, Judy? What do you know about the Gemini moon? Because I don't know much about the Gemini moon. I have to tell you guys that while I'm bringing these cards out, because they're coming out really well today, I've had just the best interactions with because my new job is a cleaning job, but we do more than just normal domestic cleaning. We do all sorts of cleaning, and I've just had the best interactions with the clients this week. Some really, really sweet moments. And I'm so grateful for every single client that I get to enjoy and be with. And it's really interesting because I can feel, somebody said today on one of my posts that, they love having cleaning and doing all that because it just really shifts the energy in the room. And we've got some friends with us right now. Hello everybody. And just knowing what I know about energy and how I work with energy, I know for sure that everything my little hot fingers touch and just being in a room, I do change the energy of that room. So it's like I'm changing it both physically and energetically, and it feels really good. Really, really good. All right, let's have a look at the next 7 days, okay? Where did I put that pen? Okay, so for the next 7 days from the 10th of December through to the 16th of December, we have a really interesting shifting of energies happening at the moment. Really interesting. All right, so the first card that's come up is singing and dancing. Okay, so we've got, this is, when this card comes up, it's to do with expressing yourself and awakening your psychic senses through the magical power of music and movement. Okay, so when I see this here, not only for me, but for others, it's time to stop being so goddamn serious. It's like we all get really, really bogged down, especially at this time of year. And it doesn't really matter what industry you're in. At this time of year, we all get so serious with being, you know, everybody's got the pressure on. They all want everything done yesterday. In fact, they want it done last week. And so we all feel the stress, especially if we're energetically aware, empaths, psychically aware people who are just little psychic sponges, and we're picking up everybody else's stuff and it's weighing us down. All right. So this little card here is about letting that out. Because it's not just about awakening your psychic senses, because they're already on full ball at the moment. This, to me, when I'm reading this one at the moment, it is about letting go of the stress and the strain of this time of year and meeting deadlines and allowing yourself to just have some moments of joyousness and laughter. And, you know, it's one of the reasons why I absolutely do love Christmas movies. They are rom-coms and they are silly and they might have a little bit of a tearjerker in there, but they always make me smile. And that's one of the reasons why I really like it, because it's a nice sort of juxtaposition to feeling all of that, especially when you go into the supermarket or the malls or the shopping centers or anything like that, or even driving out in the street. Sometimes it's just like, oh, you know, you're just feeling that pre-Christmas stress. So this card is an invitation to you to let it out. Hi, Angelita. All right. So the next one we've got is the God box. So the God box is coming up to say, you know, it really is. And I think this is, yes, thank you. So this is about a full moon releasing ceremony. So if you require to let go of anything, do it tonight. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, obviously you'll get to do that tonight. That's your full moon tonight. And even for us in the southern hemisphere, you can still catch that tonight if you wish. All right. So put your worries down. You can even release some of those things out into the world to be manifested for things that you do wish to create. But it's by this reading, I'm actually seeing a lot more of just letting go. Just let the stuff go. Let the worries go. Let the stress go. Let the everything go. All right, so definitely get your ceremony going for your full moon. Let the things that are troubling you leave your system. Okay. The next card that we've got, interestingly, is shield yourself. So shielding yourself can be done in a variety of ways. So some of you love to use your crystals. Some of you love to use light around you. Some of you love to use incense or you know, other forms of herbs or burning or whatever. For me personally, I don't necessarily consider it shielding, but I get that it is. So this is about allowing myself to be able to function in the world without being at the effect of other people's energies, right? So we do this by for me, I do this by expanding out. That's why I take you all through that beautiful expanding out process whenever we go into a meditation or a healing or anything like that. That's why I do the expanding out. Because when I expand out, it's like the energies that anybody is releasing just passes straight through. It never gets stuck. Because if we look at our fingers, right, if we clamp them up like that, right, any energies that are coming through get stuck or bounce back, right? Whereas if you expand them out, if you expand out your energy, what happens is those energies that are being released from others just float straight through. So that's one of the reasons why I do that expanding out. Okay, so it's a reminder to me to expand out. It's a reminder to you to use whatever tools you are comfortable with and you have the best results with. All right, I'm not going to say mine way is the only way because everybody's different. Some people love using the, opalescent light or the golden light or white light or whatever light you choose. Some people totally love their crystals and will put them everywhere and wear them and, sleep with them and all of that sort of stuff. And that's totally cool. Crystals have definitely got their energy purposes as well. So do whatever works for you, but it's saying be aware that there are a lot of intense energies floating up and around at the moment. Just do whatever you require to do to be okay with that. Okay, for the next week. The next one we've got is the fairies card has come up, and this is about you having a really strong bond with Mother Nature. So I'm hearing Mother Nature is the strong part of that particular message. So it's like keep connecting with nature, keep connecting, keep looking at grounding, keep looking at, touching trees or bushes or whatever you require, or the ground itself, the grass, whatever works for you. Personally, I don't touch the grass very often here in Adelaide. We have things called 3-corner jacks, which are very, very nasty, nasty prickles. They literally are about, I'd say, nearly half an inch from end spike to end spike. And when they go in, they can go right through your footwear. They can, if you stand on them, they're just nasty nasties. And a lot of the bugs in that float around bite quite intensely. So I don't tend to do the whole barefoot walking around Adelaide very much. I do if I know, if I go out to the botanic gardens or something like that, where I know that the ground is being well cared for and there aren't things like 3-corner jacks, then yes, I definitely do. Yes, they hurt a lot, and they have I think a little bit of a poison on them, so they itch as well. When you take them out, they leave a bit of an itchiness in the skin. It's not, I don't think it would be something that would create a massive allergic reaction. It's just irritating, But yeah, so the cards are asking you to take a little bit more care with yourself and just connect in with Mother Nature while you're moving through this next week. The next card that we've got is Archangel Michael. Yeah, it does it for a while. So it says you're working very closely with this powerful archangel who's protecting you and guiding you through the situation. So given that we had a couple of little conflicts that popped up perhaps in the last 7 days, maybe that's continuing, ask your spirit team to help you with that. You may even be finding that you're coming up with some differencing of opinions. You might be feeling a bit stressed, a bit irritated with your family or your work colleagues, with all the stress and strain of Christmas. So again, it's about taking a step back, taking a bit of a breather, asking your spirit team for help. And if that includes Archangel Michael, then cool. you use Archangel Michael or your spirit team or whoever speaks most deeply to you, okay? And ask them for some support, because that's what the cards are asking for today. All right. Oh, interesting. We've got 2 more cards here, and then we'll move on to any readings that have come through. If somebody wishes to do an extended reading with me, that would be absolutely amazeballs. So we've got the next card that we've got is from a different deck. Interesting. This is the I'm Sorry card. So it has defenselessness, righting past wrongs, and uprooting. Okay. And I'm actually going to tell you what the next card is at the same time. So the next card that we've got is the Void, okay, which is about embracing your dark night, embracing the areas of yourself that are more challenging, those trigger points and those sorts of things, okay? It's also to do with the great cosmic womb, not wound, but womb. So those 2 cards together for the next week, I'm looking at that going, you're going to have potentially a lot of trigger points popping up over this next week or so, to do with Christmas, to do with family, to do with money, to do with work, to do with, all those things around Christmas, getting together, whether you go to work dues, whether you don't go to work dues, all those sorts of things. And perhaps you're feeling that building of that energy. And you might be going into a little bit of, maybe a little bit of polarity, and maybe a little bit of martyrdom, and maybe a little bit of, reasons and justifications as to why you should or should not feel a certain way or do a certain thing. So with all of that, this is really looking at taking those times, those moments where those energies are coming up, to pause, write them down in your God box, all right, and do some release work. Because this is a very potent and powerful time for releasing, and especially with it being full moon last night, but also that pressure of it being December is really bringing forward those energies and those trigger points and those childhood traumas and any of those relationships where you've struggled a little bit with. So whenever you feel defensible or feeling like you just, in that space of trying to either push your pain onto someone else or push people away, have a look at why you're doing that. This is all that shadow work, the dark night of the soul, all of that sort of stuff. This is a primo time for dealing with a lot of that stuff. We're still a couple of weeks out from Christmas, so it is starting to build, right? But it's also, this is going to be an excellent week for you just going, right, I'm going to do some self-care and I'm going to do some healing before we get there. Okay? So that's what I'm seeing from this particular set of cards, which is just so cool. Never thought we'd see that coming out in the 2 weeks before Christmas spread, but there you go. So we'll just do our last little card here now. Nice, soft, gentle card. Yep. We got tenderness. So throughout all of this, please make sure that you're being very, very gentle and tender with yourself, with your heart, with your body, with your mind. Please try to not judge you. Drop into your heart space and be really, really conscious of what you're creating with your thoughts, okay? And just be very aware of those energies that are floating around you. Get up, sing and dance. Let some of those energies out. Lighten up, okay? Be tender, but lighten up. And allow yourself to feel the full scope of those healing moments, those reflective moments, those moments of taking responsibility for your part to play in any situation you're in. If you're in a situation, then you have a responsibility to take ownership of the part that you had to play. Okay, because we all have parts to play, good, bad, ugly, awesome, or otherwise. Okay, we all have something that we have done, said, or been that has led us to being in that situation in the first place. Okay? And then it's up to us to figure out how to work through that and how to heal that and be gentle with ourselves while we do that, because it is very intense work and it's often multi-generational work, especially at this time of year. So it's okay. It's okay to feel a little bit lost and a little bit confused and a little bit like, oh God, here we go again. It's okay to feel all of that. And if you've got the courage to keep moving forward, even though you're feeling all of that, hats off to you, my friends, because it is intense work. And, you know, not everybody is willing to do it. Hi, Sandra. Hope that helps everybody. Oh, dear. Isn't it a beautiful day? Yeah, the cards, I'm afraid, are just gonna keep winding, like showing you. They're being very clear, very clean at the moment of just showing you that things are intense out there, and that's okay. It's okay, but it's about balancing that out with oh my God, self-nurturing. Seriously. That was a seriously PayPal. All right. Yeah, no. Super crazy time of year. So what are your guys' top tips for how to nurture you at this time of year? Let me know in the chat. I'd love to know, what is your top tips for nurturing you on the go? You know, if you're super busy at work or something like that, you're just under the pump, or if you're at home, you know, when you've got a little bit more space and a little bit more time, I'd love to know, what are your top tips for self-nurturing and having that moment of just taking care of this beautiful, beautiful body and mind and heart that you have? I have been listening a little bit more to a book called Becoming the One today, and oh my goodness, I had to stop it because I was at the shops and I was listening to it through my Bluetooth, and I kept getting really, really teary because it was just speaking to my heart so much. And she was speaking of so this is very much along the same lines as the conversation that I was having with Kira this week around the childhood traumas and how they affect you, and how like it shapes our attachment styles or relationship styles. And she recommended doing we wanted to, just to do a quick, very, like, it took maybe a minute, maybe not even that long, quiz. Didn't require an email or anything. And it was like 5 questions, so it wasn't that intense. And you could either be somebody who is a water type, a mountain type, or a wind type. And it turns out I'm a mountain type. And even when I was listening to the book before I did the quiz, yes. When I heard what she had to say about the mountain type, I was just like, oh my gosh, yes, that's so me. So me. Those aspects of having to hold the fort for everybody and finding it very, very, very difficult to ask for other people's help. And that was something that I've had to learn to do, and to be willing and open and vulnerable enough to go, hey, I'm not okay today. And with that, I've been able to bring in a really lovely partner. But it was really wonderful to hear why I hadn't been able to bring someone like him in before now. And it was because I hadn't dealt with my childhood stuff up until the last few years. So, and it also explained why I'd attracted in like those narcissistic gaslighting energies in partners before. And it was just really, really interesting reading, but listening, as the case may be. But yes, there was several times walking around Spotlight today, I just had my hand on my heart and I was like getting a bit teary, and I was like, okay, now I better stop. Otherwise everybody's just going to think I'm overcome with listening, with watching and looking at craft stuff. Oh dear. Sandra, bubble bath and a sleep in. Oh, lovely. Sleeping meditation. A sleep-in. Sleep-ins are great when you can have them. And cuddling my dogs. Oh, I love that. Ooh, feel that energy releasing already. That's amazing. Absolutely beautiful. What does anybody else do for nurturing you? Really important to think about those sorts of things when you are on the go. Like, what sort of top tips could you give for, on the go, you're stressed out, you're in traffic, you're, at this supermarket or you're at the mall or whatever, and you're surrounded by people who are all super duper stressed, or you're at work and you've got the deadlines up the wazoo, and, what do you do in those situations? I know I've been in most of those situations, different times of my life. Music, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love music too. I tell you what I don't do. I don't listen to the radio. I don't listen to the news. I don't watch the news. I don't partake in anything that is news stuff. If I'm feeling really super stressed, that's the last thing I do. So there's no way I'll be doing any of that, because it just winds me up even more. It makes me really angry. We don't want that. Yeah, music and dancing, all those sorts of things. It's absolutely amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. So, of course, everybody, if you'd like to have a bit of a tailored reading just for you, feel free to pop that through. There we go. That probably helps, doesn't it? Because I know how much you guys love that. yeah, I have to say, Becoming the One. Let me just see who it was written by. I'll bring that up. By Shaileana Ayana. Okay, so I'll pop that in the chat actually, and then you can have a look at that. Highly recommend it. I think this is a book that I will be buying and having in my collection. There we go. And who knows, maybe in the future I'll do another book club where I might bring in a couple of books, one of them being The Values Factor by Dr. John DeMartini, but also this one has sort of popped up into the list of books that I get could be really, really good for a book club. It's been a long time, a couple of years now since I've done a book club, so and I really do enjoy them. Do you guys like book clubs? I'm curious. Alrighty. All right. Well, just to give me a little break on the old talkie, although I love talking to you, especially after a whole day of not really seeing anybody. Let's have a look at this one. Alrighty. So yes, I do still have space in my days at the moment in my weekends for in-person bodywork sessions. I do love them so much. And the best ones are and then there's my online sessions, of course. And the online sessions are still that crazy, silly low price of $65 Australian for the hour. And within that, what you actually get is you get to have like a good little chat with me. We might pull some cards, we might not. It just depends on how the flow is going on that day. It's like we might even just do a bit of the poetry first and just see what is popping up. Because sometimes people book sessions and don't have a specific thing to go forward with, but other times they do, and then we can go from there. We can do a little bit of digging work. We can do, oh, did you, darling? Tried to contact you, had trouble doing so. Okay. Wonder what was going on there, honey. Okay. Well, did you wish to book an online session, honey? Because if you do, let me just bring that up and I will, there we go. Because the best way to do that is to go through my website, hun, and there's the booking thing there. I'll just double check from here that it's actually working and doing okay things. Yep. So yeah, the weekends are generally the time that I'll be able to so you just scroll down and go to the booking form and then just do your booking that way, and it should go through just fine. Okay. And if it doesn't, for whatever reason, there's always, let me just double check how we're doing the payment things happening over there at the moment. Yep, pay with PayPal, easy peasy. Cool. Oh, thank you, Angelita. Yep. So everything is all good over there. It's looking just fine and dandy. So yeah, I think there's 1 sessions that are on a Friday in the late afternoon, and then the rest of them are Saturdays and Sundays, because now I'm working Monday through Thursday, and I'm just a little bit shattered often at the end of the day. Sometimes I'm not. Depends on the day. So yeah, I've sort of had to squish everything, like my lovely energy healing work, into the Friday, Saturday, Sunday work. But that's okay, because that's when most people book sessions with me anyway. But I have to say, my favorite types of sessions are the ones where we get to do multiple sessions, where we get to do mini sessions, a few weeks apart, a month apart, even, a couple of weeks apart, whatever works for you. But it's like when we get to do those continuing on sessions, we get to really go to some pretty awesome and cool places. Like there's one lady who I get the privilege of doing sessions with, and she's been a client of mine for, gosh, a good couple of years now. And my word, the places and spaces we have been to with not only her and her personal healing, but also with her family, with business, with past life regression healing work. There's just been so many amazing, we've even done some addiction healing. There's just been a really vast variety of things that we have done, and that's just with one person. Sometimes it's about confidence. Sometimes it's about feeling worthy. Sometimes it's about, looking at those spaces and places where, maybe you didn't feel like you could be seen and heard in your life. Maybe you felt undervalued. Maybe you were abused. Maybe, there's just so many things that pop up in some sessions. And it's like, there was one thing in the book that I was reading today, Becoming the One, and she said today, and I was just like, yes, it's absolutely so true. And she was talking about spiritual healing and how it can be so non-linear. So it's like you might think you have a problem sitting here like this, and that you've got to tackle that problem this way. But quite often what will happen is that you'll end up tackling it from this direction and this direction and this direction and this direction. And then each time we tackle it, it's like you're peeling away other layers. And it might feel like sometimes you're going, well, I came in for this, but we ended up speaking about this, which doesn't really seem to be related. But as you go through the healing session, you realize actually this was just the fluff on top that made me look at what it was that it required to be healed. And what actually required to be healed was sitting over here. And while I was focusing on the fluff over here, I couldn't see the actual core of it. And that's the beauty of doing this energetic healing work, so beautiful. I'm sorry to hear that you had your credit card details stolen, Sandra. That sucks. Beautiful. I look forward to doing that session with you, Sandra, in the future. That would be a lovely, lovely thing. Alrighty. Let us, seeing as we've still got, let's see if we've got anybody else who's choosing to have an extended reading today. Not at the moment, so that's cool. All right, are we ready, my beautiful friends? Are we ready? Are we ready? You ready to pick your number between 1 and 88? Ready, 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 ready? Put it in the chat. All right. Beautiful. Okay, number 9. Okay, Sandra. Number 9, which is emotions. Of course, we know. I love it. You guys know what to do now. So this is the gratitude poetry book. And of course, this poetry book was never intended to be an intuitive poetry book, but it is. And that's the beauty of following your awareness and actually following through and actually allowing your creations to come through to completion. And I am so freaking grateful to my spirit team for not giving up on me, even though I was being so stubborn and didn't want to do it. No way. And they just kept nudging me along, and allowing me to see and uncover in my own time the gift of this book. So, Sandra, emotions. Love, like, lust. All 3 words describe the same thing. An attraction to another, their soul, mind, and body. But how to tell the difference when 2 people meet? They may get along, but who is to say that it's true love? True love comes out of knowing a person right into their soul. To like someone, that's when they just aren't sure, but like leads to love. True lust. This is the easiest to fall for. It is pure bodily attraction. They like what they see and go for it. Sometimes it ends in sorrow, sometimes it carries on in strength, and sometimes it never starts. Okay, Sandra. We've got a lot of energy coming up around this. So to start off with, what I was getting as I was reading this was, I feel a bit like when I read that soul, mind, and body part, it was like, I feel a bit like you're blown apart a little with that. It's like you're not really brought in together. And this is one of those times this poem isn't what it seems. So it's a lovely poem. I agree. But this has an extra hidden message for you. So the other thing that was coming in as I was reading this was this really bitter taste in my mouth. Like there's I'm getting a bit of hidden or retained resentment, maybe a bit of anger in there, of like past relationships or something maybe you're in right now, where there's just a lot of healing and a lot of forgiveness that's being required. And this true love that this is talking about, it's like, it's really asking you to come back to you. It's asking you to bring those elements back together so that you can find out the true love that is you, the you that is love, the you that is part of Creator and for you and the universe and all that sort of stuff. It's the bringing in of those, the valuing of you and the love, the unconditional love of you. Okay, I don't know if that resonates for you, but that's sort of what was coming through as I was reading that poem. It was just like really super strong. It was just like, oh, it's like I'm hearing the words double-edged sword. So there might be a few belief systems floating around at the moment that is preventing you from feeling that true love for yourself. Maybe you don't feel worthy of it or whatever. I'm not sure. So there's definitely some deep inner work to be done, and some beautiful shadow work, if you like, to be done, a bit of healing. But yeah, definitely the healing of those, the pain, the heart pain, the hurt, the heartache is definitely required. Okay, I'm putting the love I have for someone else into myself at the moment. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't read that book, Becoming the One, please do. I think you might get quite a bit out of that too. You might have to be a bit like me though and just do it in bursts. That's up to you. Everybody's different, yeah. All right, Julie. All right, Julie. My angel. The little sprite, a ray of sunshine, as bouncy as a ball and as caring as a mum. Laughter like butterflies as it rises through the air, and sounds like music as it reaches those listening. This is a really interesting poem in that as soon as I read it, do you have somebody in the spirit realm who is like a youngish person? Because if you do, whether that be maybe a pregnancy that's been lost, miscarriage, that sort of thing, or just it feels very childlike, interestingly enough. There's an energy there of like, it's not a living person. It feels like somebody in the spirit realm who's really wishing to reach out and to let you know that they love you so much, and that like it's they just really enjoy when you think about them and be with them, and enjoy their energy, and allowing that to infuse in and through your life too. Okay, so yeah, that was a really interesting, it was like as soon as I was just like, poof, that's not even embodied. So I hope that helps you, Julie. It's a really interesting poem. Yeah, light and fun, very light and fun energy. So whoever that little sprite is and that ray of sunshine is for you, they're certainly reaching out to you to say, hey. Yeah, no, I'm not getting it's your sister. I'm getting it's someone much younger. Very, very, very young, like very childlike. Yeah, interesting. It's very cool. Also, Julie, this might be a little bit challenging for you to hear, but you might wish to change your verbiage around your older sister. I'm getting female for the little sprite energy. You didn't lose her. She's saying to me very clearly right now, she never lost me. What's she talking about? I'm still here. So, like, maybe change how you word that. Like, you could say, transition to the other realm or something different, because she doesn't like the word lost, because you never lost her. She's still there. She's still wishing to be a part of your life, and she's still very much a very staunch, strong figure in your spirit team. And so, yeah, she's just like, I'm not lost. Stop saying that I'm lost, because I'm not. So I thought you might enjoy that little piece of information from your sister. She's funny. I like her. All right. Okay, my lovelies. Well, let me just one more double check over into PayPal land, see if there is any payments that have come through. Not. Okay, check the old emails. Nope. Okay. All right. You're welcome, Julie. She's funny. I like her. Yeah, she's very settled into being in that other realm now. She's, there was a little bit of time there where she had to spend just transitioning out of the embodied space into the energetic realm again. But now she's fully there. She's all good. Like, she's just happy. She's happy to still be around you in such an immediate way that she is. So that's pretty cool. And you're welcome. All right, so let's have a look. Let's do a little bit of energy work. Let's have a play with... Okay, cool. So what we'll do is we'll do our expanding out exercise, as we do with every happy little meditation healing session. And we're also going to just have a little bit of fun with that fairy energy tonight. That's what they've asked me to bring through, because that was what was popped up in our card reading as well. So, yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, the missing the physical touch is probably the worst part, isn't it? I would say it's like there's a grieving process that happens within of having to get used to the different ways that we communicate. It's kind of like when the only way I can really compare it is, when I grew up in a very small village, and then suddenly, and I could, just pop over to my grandparents basically any old time that I wanted. And as long as they were home, they were there, and I could speak with them and hang out, and especially my granddad, and just really enjoyed learning from him and, just enjoying life. And then when I moved away, it was like everything became a lot harder and a lot more clunky. And it was kind of like, because he wasn't one to talk on the phone and all that sort of stuff. So not only was I missing that companionship, that physical companionship, I was also missing the communication. And so I get it, that was a little bit of a grieving process that I also had to do, which we call homesickness. So when we have somebody who transitions into the next realm, it's the same thing. Luckily, you have the ability to be able to, and the development enough to be able to communicate with her and know that she's communicating back with you. So that's really, really cool. And the best part about that is that the more you do it, the easier it becomes for both of you. And like my dad, for example, we had nothing to do with each other for 20 years. And when he transitioned over, I did go to that funeral, and, we had some very vulnerable moments in his funeral. And he actually apologized in the way that he does for what had happened when I was young. Which I actually get was really important for part of my healing, the beginning stages of my healing of my childhood trauma of abandonment issues and things like that. It was really important for him to tell me that. And him and I have a much, much better relationship now that he's in the spiritual realm as part of my spirit team than I think we ever would have had in the physical realm anyway. You know, when he first transitioned, he was a bit bolshy and stuff, and I had to sort of haul him back into line at one point. And that was an interesting moment for me because I wasn't on my spiritual journey so much as what I am now. But it's like that internal knowing of, no, what you're doing is not right. And it's not your part, it's not your place to interfere in that particular pathway. Stop it. And he did, you know. So he now is so willing to contribute when I ask him to. And it's a beautiful thing. He pops in, like he's floating around now. He's, because he knows I'm talking about him, and he brings in quite a light, fun energy to him. He was always a bit of a jokester and a bit of a, you know, somebody who would take the mickey a little bit and be a bit of a larrikin, if you like. And he did have just the greatest smile and, you know, a light-hearted way about him. So yeah, now I get to enjoy that with him, you know. And quite often it will be like my granddad or my dad, they don't tend to be in the space at the same time. Just depends on what I require in my world. If I require a little bit of lightness, my dad will pop in. If I require a bit more of that deeper loving, then my granddad will often pop in. If I require knowledge or information about what to do in a woodworking problem, my granddad will pop in. If it's like a mechanical issue, then my dad will pop in. So it's really interesting having those two people in my world. My dad's mum, Grandma Pam, she has very, very rarely popped in, but when I was receiving some really deep feminine healing, and we were working through some auric field healings, my grandmother, so my dad's mum popped in, my mum's grandmother, so my great grandmother popped in. I don't have too many closer female relatives that have passed, but those two did definitely pop in, and my great aunt popped in, so my granddad's sister popped in. And then there was a few other further back relatives that came in to come around me and fully support me during that process. And that was just phenomenal to feel that and to perceive that level and depth of support from my female ancestors. It was just like, wow, thank you. Because for my whole life, I felt very, very alone as far as all of this sort of stuff goes. I shut it down for a long time because of that. And it's not until the last few years where I've actually come out and just gone, you know what, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. I don't care if my family hears it and thinks that I'm off in wacko crazy land, that I've lost the plot and, you know, Australia's changed me and all those sorts of judgments. I don't care anymore. So this is my truth. This is who I know I am. And I have some gifts and talents in this area. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay that they don't get it. And with that, I've discovered that my dad's sister, my auntie, she apparently always knew. She's come up in the last few months to say, I always knew there was something a bit different about you. From when you were very, very small, I knew. Like, wow, that's kind of cool, But again, she was sort of there, but she wasn't there. And it was just not a topic we spoke about. Not ever. So sometimes it just takes a bit of courage to just own who you be, regardless of what anybody else would think, including your family and your friends, to just really feel comfortable in your own skin, So, with all of that, happy chatting, Julie, to your sister, with your sister. She's got a lot of spunk. I love it. So let us hop into, just do one final check over in PayPal land, see if anybody is choosing to pop in a payment. Nope. Okay, that's cool. Let's do ourselves a little meditation, and a healing meditation. You're welcome, Julie. Just enjoy being with her. Enjoy her new space. And be aware that, it's totally normal to grieve the body. So let's take a nice big deep breath in, my friends. That was a bit deeper than I was expecting. And another nice big deep breath in. And out. Just really becoming aware of the breath moving in and out of your body, and how your body is moving with every single breath. And if you're breathing and you're going into your chest only, please make sure you're pushing that air all the way down to the bottom of your belly. Make your belly move. If you require to put your hands on your belly, then please do so. Just doing this deep, deep breathing is allowing you to remind your body and your brain to calm, that it doesn't have to be in stress mode. We're reminding the brain to release our feel-good hormones instead of our stress ones. That's it. Well done. And just feeling your body. Give those shoulders a bit of a wriggle and allow them to drop down and loosen. Now expanding out your awareness. First of all, we're going to go internal. We're going to take our awareness all the way down to our cells and molecules. We're going to take our awareness down through our belly, through our heart, all the way down to the atomic level, where you can see that you are indeed 99.999% space. Beautiful, well done. And now expanding out your awareness out to the size of the room that you're in, and now out to the size of the building, in a big bubble up into the sky and down into the earth, expanding out to the size of the country that you're in. And now expanding out your awareness out beyond the size of the planet. I giggle because I could feel you guys. You're all tickling each other with your awareness bubbles. That's so cute. All right, expanding out your awareness out beyond the size of the solar system. And now out beyond the size of the universes. And now expand. We just did the big jump from the galaxies to the universes all at once because you guys are fast. And now if you'd like to go out further than the universes, you're welcome to do so now. Have a little play with how far out you'd like to go. You might like to go out beyond wherever you've been before. And you can expand on that. I'll leave you to your awareness of where you would like to go, because there's loads and loads of options. And now focusing on your body once again, and now grabbing that sense of allowance and expanding that out. Expand out your sense of allowance to the size of the room. Expanding out your sense of allowance to the size of the building. Expanding out your sense of allowance to the size of the country that you're in. And now to the size of the planet. And now expanding out your allowance out to the size of the solar system and the galaxies and the universes, and now expanding out your allowance beyond your awareness. And just perceive as the body just relaxes with that, and it allows you to know that you're safe, that anything is possible. You can create anything you like from this point, this space. You can absolutely create the good, the bad, the ugly, and the awesome. It's totally up to you with your thoughts, with your actions, with your heart. And now I'd like you to imagine yourself in a beautiful, lush field. And you're walking along in this field, and there's no three-corner jacks. It's just nice and lush and soft. Soft grass. You're not wearing any shoes. You're walking barefoot. And it feels so gentle and tender and fluffy underneath your feet. It's cool underneath your feet, but the temperature with the sun above is just absolutely perfect. And now as you keep wandering along, you come to a little clearing where there's this beautiful crystalline pond. And around this pond, there are lovely big warm river rocks. They're nice and flat in some places and curved in others. Where in some places it might be amazing to stand on them and look beyond, and in other places it's like the best place to lie down and it's just so super comfy. Or sit and meditate with your feet in the pool. And as you do so, your hands trickle down into the water. And behind you, out just beyond the circle of rocks, those big, beautiful river rocks, you hear some little sounds, almost like the sweetest bird twittering that you could imagine. But not quite. It sounds a little different. Very, very slowly, very quietly. Turn your head to the side and gaze gently to the trees that you see just beyond. And then in front of the trees, there's some flowers, some wildflowers growing. And now you can start to see very slowly the sprites and the fairies. They're starting to appear to you. Just gently relax your shoulders. Allow yourself the space to just receive their energies. And now you can smile at them. And gently, very, very gently, hold your hand out in a welcoming gesture so they know that you are happy to be sharing space with them and that they are welcome to come over and greet you. They've spent a long, long time feeling very cautious of us humans. We've done an awful lot over the many generations and lifetimes to make them feel this way. So this is why we must be very tender with them and gentle and soft with our movements, allowing them to know they can come to you. They talk telepathically. They have some noises, but generally they're telepathic communicators. So now I'd like you to focus on your heart. With your other hand, very gently place a little of the water, the crystalline water from the pool, onto your heart. This is a signal from you to the fairy folk to let them know that you mean them no harm. They can see both of your hands and they know that you know the gift of the water, the crystalline water, and the healing properties of the water in the space that you're in right now. Just be nice and still. Keep breathing slowly and deeply. Smile gently. And now as you drop into your heart space, bringing the unconditional love of Mother Earth up through from the ground, through the water, through into your feet, coming all the way up your body, moving up into your heart space. Very, very gently flow that out from your heart space, gently as if it's the lightest breeze, gently, gently moving that out to the fairy folk and the sprites, communicating to them that you're so glad to be there, sending them unconditional love and gratitude for everything they do to assist Mother Nature to keeping our beautiful planet continuing to grow and flourish and nurture our nature, keeping us clothed and fed and housed. By now there may be a few little courageous ones who are coming up a bit closer to you and checking you out. Just enjoy. Don't push anything. Just be nice and still. You can flow that energy through to them. Be very gentle with it though. You'll see that their community is one that has many different personalities. You have the shy ones, you have the more bolshy ones, you have the cheeky ones, you have the more sensible ones. But every single one of them have that energy of ultimate connectedness to Mother Nature and the environs all around, which gives them that light-heartedness. And now I'd like you to invite them to share a little of their energy with you, to remind you what it feels like to have fairy energy moving through you. Because we are all one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now I'd like you to bring your fingers up into a prayer position in Namaste if you like. And now take your fingertips and place them on your third eye. And now come back to your heart. Place your hands, open palms onto your heart space. Gently thank the fairy folk for today's interactions, for allowing us to be in their space, for sharing their beautiful crystalline pool with us and their river rocks, and thanking them for the beautiful, incredible care that they take of this space, of the soft grass underfoot and the beautiful wildflowers. and thanking the beautiful fairy and fairy folk and the sprites, including the water nymphs, for the reminder of what it feels like to live with that space of lightness and brightness and connectedness to Mother Nature. Beautiful. And now as we leave this beautiful space, you're gently floating up and through the dimensions and moving back through to your body as it is now. Wherever you are in the right now, reintegrating all those lovely energies into your body, soothing and calming any of those spaces where you have become disconnected from the fairy folk. Reminding your ego that it's okay to have this beautiful level of connection with everything that is around you. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. Take a deep, deep breath now. And just feel the changes in your body. And one more big, deep breath. And breathing out gratitude for everything and everyone. And this next breath in, we're bringing Mother Earth energy up. And then bringing Father Sky energy down. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. There we go, my friends. That was beautiful. Thank you for coming to play. Thank you for enjoying being in this space with me. I have a very, very special guest on Tasty Tuesdays, Deb Gilmore, and she has created a beautiful set of cards with Leanne Winston. And if you watch on Tuesday's show, there is going to be a giveaway of one of those card packs. So very much worth your while to pop over and watch Tasty Tuesdays this Tuesday. You guys are getting first note that that is happening. So, all right. I hope you do something absolutely brilliant for yourself and gentle and soft and tender and nurturing for yourself over the weekend and over the next week. Be very aware that that lovely shadow work is going to come up. But if you can approach it with that vulnerability, the tenderness, and the loving space that you're all in right now, if you can approach all of that stuff from that space, you will be absolutely fine and you'll move through it with so much ease and grace. You'll be absolutely astounded. I feel good. I always do after doing those sorts of things. So from me to you, I hope you all have an absolutely beautiful, beautiful weekend and a lovely week to come. Take it easy out there. Allow yourself the kindness and the gentleness that you truly be. bringing that unconditional love from Mother Earth up through your body. Whenever you're feeling a little bit tense or uptight, expand out if you like, or do whatever works for you. So until I see you next time, be bold, be brave, be you, my beautiful friends, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.